This video is a follow-on from the previous video dealing with the recent bank failures in America and the Credit Suisse UBS debacle in Switzerland. As I said in the first video, some people are continuing to get their money out of the banks, believing them to be at risk. This is causing problems for the smaller banks, putting them in some jeopardy. So it's behaviour which is likely to precipitate the collapse of some smaller banks. There's also a self-fulfilling prophecy aspect to this behaviour. But whatever, people are getting jittery and for good reason. Fearing further collapses, some people are taking their money out of the smaller banks and transferring the funds to bigger banks like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, etc. The supposedly too big to fail banks, banks which are considered safe. Again, this is understandable, but it's not a very wise move in my opinion for three reasons. Firstly, some people are acting on the idea that they could put their money to work for them, but they're chasing short-term yields rather than looking at the bigger picture. My guess is that these people don't grasp the enormity of what is actually happening, which is a currency crisis and much more besides. So they might think they're being smart, but I don't think they are, especially if you consider that they may gain a couple of percentage points while inflation is above 10%, so any value that the money they have is being eroded at a much faster rate. The second thing I want to say is that the banking system as it is today is corrupt to the core. The big banks are very much part of the problem. Moreover, this latest move could be exactly what was planned. Our overlords might very well be herding people into the bigger banks for various different aims, one of which is the introduction of the CBDC. Bear in mind that a herd of sheep are more easily moved if they're a little scared. Thirdly, I've done my best to exit the system as much as possible so that I'm less affected by their shenanigans. As I've said in other videos, for a number of years my preference has been not to have any money in any banks, or at least the bare minimum to cover monthly expenses. But that's just me. You're free to do as you wish. This is not financial advice. The last thing that I want to say about this is I don't blame people for wanting to get their money out. They are reacting to the circumstances and for good reasons. All I will say is that it's generally best to be proactive rather than reactive. While talking about blame, the MSM and others have been trying to lay blame for the collapse of the banks on depositors, but really the problem lies with the banks, the fractional reserve system and other dastardly banking practices. We have to be aware that banks only exist because we entrust the money that we earn with them. We can make them more responsible, but we have to act in accord with this. Moving on. This is a side point, but I think it's worth mentioning. I'm fairly sure I'm right in saying that when most people hear this next statement, they might be somewhat surprised. When you put your money into a bank account, the money is no longer yours. Permit me to explain. In legal terms, you're regarded as an unsecured creditor. The definition of an unsecured creditor in Investopedia is, open quotes, an individual or institution that lends money without obtaining specific assets as collateral, close quotes. In legal terms, as an unsecured creditor, you are regarded as an investor. When you deposit some money into an account, you are making an investment with the bank. I'm sure I'm right in saying that the vast majority of people don't think anything about the legal implications of putting money into a bank account. They think that the money is theirs, but the law doesn't give a damn about what people think or believe. The law is the law. For anyone who's interested, I've done a couple of videos on this topic. Anyway, I split this topic into a number of videos, so there's another one to follow. In the next video, I'll talk about the lies being told. Wise up and rise up.